Here's another one of John's little treasures. Now these are gears, as you can see, and they were designed and built specially for the front of the little racing Austin 7 called the McLaughlin Special. What we discovered was that the standard gears, which have a 45-degree helix angle so that you can drive a dynamo off them, they were made in cast iron, and when you revved the engine up, the supercharger was so powerful that it just stripped the gears. And so what we decided to do was to make stronger gears. And these gears were, we discovered, or at least a friend of mine, John Dyson, discovered, that the helix angle of 37.5 degrees was ideal so that you could still fit the gears in the timing case at the front of the engine. Now, we worked at the time at a company called Commer Cars in Luton, who designed truck chassis and trucks and various other commercial vehicles, and they were owned by the Roots Group. And the Roots Group had purchased a number of companies, Humber, Hillman, Sunbeam, Talbot and all the rest, and they were trying to sell the business to various people in the 50s, and they were invited by Fiat to come and have a look at who were invited to come and have a look at the company. But when they looked at what they were going to purchase, they realized that it was what they described as a medieval blacksmith shop. It was in such a terrible state because the Roots family had screwed the bottom off the companies for years. They'd never invested any money at all. And this particular company had a gearbox production line where they made the gears for their gearboxes. And these gears were damaged in the First World War. And they were all held together with pieces of wire and string and goodness knows what else. And they were all run by a little chap called Ginger Simpkins. Now, Ginger Simpkins was a brilliant engineer, and he'd managed to keep these machines running for all these years. Unfortunately, it eventually got on top of him and he took to the bottle. But so this is really, in a way, a tribute to Ginger Simpkins, because what we did was we persuaded him to close the production line down and manufacture these gears for us. And so, as I always do, I had 2 sets made. And this second set is here, waiting in case we ever need them. And they're 37.5 degrees helix angle, which makes them much stronger and thicker roots on the teeth, so that they can withstand the loads of the supercharger, which was a Centric 160 on the Racing Austin 7. And so this is a little story about them and about Commer Cars and Ginger Simpkins. And God rest his soul, he's probably building gears in heaven somewhere. So that's another one of my little treasures. Thank you very much. This is the crankshaft gear. It fits on the end of the crankshaft. And the bigger one here is the one that fits on the camshaft. So you have camshaft drive, and they're all made, but they're hardened on the outside and soft in the middle, so that they will bond onto the gears and onto the shaft. And then you have another one here, which is an idler gear, and another idler gear, and this one drives the supercharger. So that gives you some idea of the extent of the gearing on the front of the Austin.